What's up, guys? I'm Carbell once again, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, just don't talk plenty, subscribe because there's more coming and you have come to stay. Alright, so let's just skip the formality, let's just jump right into the video. So guys, we've been able to go like far for now, coded all the HTML, at least get the whole project set up and running, and then as at now we've really we've hit a milestone of finishing all the HTML needed for this. All we need to do right now is add the JavaScript, small JavaScript, about 15 lines of JavaScript, and then all the CSS that we need to just transform this ordinary looking 2005 website into 2020 website or 2021 website as we are in this year. So that much, guys, let's just go straight into it. So the very first thing I'm going to do, minimize this here so that we can have our look here, is I'm going to design the navigation bar. But how do I know even the star sheet is? I want you to say body and say background color. Let me just say red. Save it. So background changed to red, meaning it's working. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to reset everything. Automatically, you can see that there's some padding and then a whole lot of stuff. You can see some things, and even the fonts we are using here is not the fonts, the Roboto fonts that we chose in the HTML. Let's see how we can get everything going. So this is a universal selector. Whenever you use this, I'm going to select everything. I want padding of 0 for everything, and then margin of also 0, and then box sizing border box, and look at what happened. And now all the margin and padding is taken away from everything, looking so that way when you say I want the width to be this, it will be that width. You won't get it will be that width. You won't get any other additional stuff to get into it. Let's roll. Now there's something I'm going to introduce here. I won't really explain it, but then I'll introduce it here so that you just see how it works. It's called custom properties. It's a thing of the future, and the earlier you start seeing it and just getting accustomed to it, the better. We'll have a separate video to explain that, but for now let's just have it this way. Alright, so I'm going to just say root. This is where you can just set some properties that will run through everything, more of like variable, something like that. So the first root, I'm going to say color primary, and I want to say the color primary should be, I have to copy this as code, 5 4 B192, yeah, and then color secondary should be this color we have here, 3636. So this color, and let's go. So let's go to our HTML. I want the width to be 100%. I want the height also to be 100%, and then I want font size to be 62.5%, and then save it. Everything looks very tiny and everything looks some way, but guys, let's go. You'll see how everything pays off very soon. So I want to go to the body. First thing I'm going to do is, for the body, I'm going to say, of course, obviously width should be 100%. I want height also to be 100% from that key, and then I want font family to be, we specify Roboto, right? So I'm going to say Roboto, and then if there is no Roboto or it hasn't yet loaded, use sans serif in there, and then things have changed from that other one to Roboto, just like we saw in Google Fonts how to use it. And I'm going to say font size. I want the font size to be 1.4 rem units. Save it, and things look pretty much okay. Let's compare this one here. Yeah, it looks pretty much the same. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to specify something for all images. I don't want any image being a stubborn image. So wherever you find yourself to be on an image, first I want you to display block, and then finally I want to say width of 100% and save it. Yeah, hey, because I say we need 100%, look at everything wants to take 100% of the space it can find. So look at what they are doing, looking like they think they are smart. They are not smarter than we are. Let's show them we are smarter. Let's go. Now the next thing I would like to do is just go straight to the nav bar, but then there's something we can't skip. We can't skip the container. That is the things I told you about. So I'm going to call this one, I'm going to just call them components for now. This is just a smaller project, so this is how I'll go about it. It doesn't have to be like so dot container. Very good. So I'm going to say width of, I'm going to use the main value, and the main value certain two values, which one should be the minimum and which one should be like maximum, something like that. So it says 90% and then comma 70 em. Very good. And then I see, meaning the weight should be 90%. As you can see, this is 90% of the thing. If I should go here, there's also like 70 em. If like you see that if it's going to grow big, it shouldn't grow bigger than 70 m units. And then if it's going to be smaller too, it should be at least 90%. And that's pretty much cool. But I want everything centered. Once something is not 100% the original weight, you can make it centered by just using what we call margin. If I say margin right of auto and save it, nothing happens, just wait, and then add margin left of also auto, and that's center. That's what we call center, into the center. So everything is now into the center, just like here, everything is now into what? The center. And we are pretty much good to go. Let's go back to the original one. So now if you come to the nav bar, you can see that things aren't looking like they are supposed to look, but that's only for a little while. So I'm going to come here and just say my nav bar. So I'm going to say dot nav bar. Of course, the nav bar, I want width of 100%. I want height of also 65 pixels. 5 pixels looks cool. Is that not it? Yay! Everything looks ugly here. Don't worry, they'll all fall in place very soon. I want background color. Let me use red for now so that you see where I'm talking about. So you can see the red showing at the top. That's cool. And then I want and there's something I'd like to ask. I think the image, I'm going to make it max width. This should be the maximum width. It shouldn't expand more than 100% of the container that it finds itself in. So it can be smaller than that, but once it wants to become bigger, it shouldn't be bigger than the original container. I hope that makes sense. So that's what the max width actually does. I think that one is better for now, and I can change this one to background of white, that is FFF, and save that. Now you don't see it, and that's why I'm going to add what we call box shadow. I'm going to so the first value is going to be for your x. So I want 0 on the x axis. I want 0.3 rem on the y axis, and then 0.5 pixels blur, and then the color I just want black. But VS Code will help me, so I just hover up over it and just drag the opacity to like 0.35 here and save it. So you can see that nice shadow that comes here. It makes it pop, and that's straightforward. We've done it. Now when I'm scrolling, you realize that it still scrolls. I don't want that. I want it to be fixed at the top. I don't want it to move when I scroll, and that's what I'm going to call position. So CSS position is a whole big topic on its own. I'll take it in little chunks and we'll understand it. So I just say position of fixed. I want top 0 and then left also 0, and then save that. So now when I'm scrolling, it doesn't move. If I should make the top 50 pixels, what happened? It moves from the top 50 pixels, yet it is still stuck there. If I should make the left 50%, it's going to move 50% of the whole weight. The still now 50% of the whole weight. So that's what positioning does. It's pretty cool. It's something that we'll explore more on this channel. So consider subscribing. You don't know, you will find out very soon why you should subscribe. If you're actually enjoying this, make sure to smash the thumbs up button to keep some smile on my face. So let's show. That's it. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set what we call z-index. Z-index. What z-index that it tells us what is on top of what thing. So what is on top of what. If you have a z-index of 1 and I have z-index of 5, I'll be on top of you automatically. But z-index will only work if you have position set on an element. So you can see here we have position set on what fixed, so this z-index what will work. If we didn't have position set on it, it probably won't work. Guys, are we okay? Let's continue. Then the next thing I'm going to say is that our nav menu, first I'm going to say is height of also 65 pixels, just like its parent element, or you can just use 100%. And I'm going to say display flex, very good. And then something has just happened. Let me take display flex out and then save it. It was like this, one on top of the other. But display flex automatically, when you just write it, it is going to make things, it will put things in what, an horizontal manner. You can choose to say maybe flex direction of column, so that it will be stuck in this, but we want it to be horizontal. And I could have just typed like row like this, and to do that, but when you type flex at first, the first thing is that it's as row, so you have to repeat yourself typing row again. And I'm going to say align items of center, nothing happens, good. And then justify content of space between, and then save it. So as you can see, there's one, there's two. You're realizing, now what is the last thing here? That is the nav button. Let me just, now that's the nav button. You will see it when we start styling it very soon. As you can see, so this is the you can have space between and we have space around. Let me show you just a little glimpse of it. We are not really going deeper into flex, but it would be good if you know. If I say space around and I save it, I think one thing I'll do is that I just say nav btn red. Why am I doing this? 10 pixels. So that's it. This is the nav button for now. Okay, so if you say space around, it's going to distribute the space that it has around, so that everyone will have space around. So there's space around here, space around here. If I just change this one to space between, it's going to stretch it. So this one goes to the farthest, this one goes to the farthest, and this one stays in the middle. If I say space evenly, I save it. Now they are all spaced evenly. And but that's what we want. We want it, the first and the last, to be slapping at the door. So I just say space between, like that, and that's cool. Before I start the nav list here, let me just take a look at your brother here who says the logo. I want the weight to be just 40 pixels. It shouldn't be too big, just 40 pixels. And then the height should be automatic. The height should be automatic. I can't tell if it's 40 what the height should be, but I want the height to be automatic, so it becomes smaller and then much manageable here. And then the next thing I'm going to, now let's start the navigation bar. This code is something that we don't need, so I just clean everything. So first thing I want to say cursor of pointer. So when our cursor lands on it, it should become a pointer. That's the whole idea. Like the way this becomes pointer, this will not become a pointer, but when I save it, right now I take it there to be a pointer, and that's the whole idea. Then I'll save it. Nothing happens, but that's normal. So dot nav btn dot lines, the lines that we had in there. I'm going to say background color, but I could have just typed the hex code and go my way, but because we are using that CSS custom properties, I'm just going to say var and then say color primary, and then that's it. But the width to be 3.5 rem, and the height should also be 0.34 rem, and save it. That's it. It looks pretty much ugly as of now, but when I hover on it, it looks like a cursor. That's what we achieved. When I click on it, it doesn't do anything. And yes, but we make it's a link. So when I click, it will do something, and that's the difference here. But we'll have JavaScript so that when we click, like here it does that animation thing. Just stay tuned and let's get to it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have the margin at the bottom here. I could just add margin bottom of like 0.3 rem, and then I've solved the problem. But if you look at it, it's not the right thing to do. I'll show you why very soon. I'll save it for now, and then I'll come here. I thought I was writing sans dot nav btn dot lines, the end child. I'm selecting a child. Now these are 3 children. He has 3 children. This is child number 1, number 2, number 3. I'm selecting the what? The child which is not the last child. I'm selecting the child which is not the last child. If you know that you're not the last one, then you're the one I'm selecting. Very good. So this is the way to go about it. It's confusing for now, but you'll get used to it. I always say that I don't want to explain this stuff, it make the video much longer. And I'm going to say margin bottom of like 0.5 rem. Oh, something happened. Okay, yeah. Not I think I selected a child rather, not. So this is what I'm going to say. Not if you are not the last child, like this rather. Yeah. So now that one works. So you can see it here. It's simple. It's not simple. It's okay. We'll manage this now for now, and let's continue, guys. Guys, please, if you are getting any value from this video, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button. Smash the thumbs up button, and let's continue. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I have everything set up for now, but when I scroll like this, it stays there and everything. But I want this button here to be on top of everyone. So what I'm going to set position to it. Where is it? I'm going to just say position of relative. Relative to that, and then z index of 11, meaning it should be even above the nav bar that we have right here. And then finally I'm going to add what we call transition, which we'll see later, 0.4 seconds, and then I save that. The importance of that will prove very soon. We'll see the usefulness of that very soon. Very good. But before I go anywhere, let me just add the JavaScript, and then we'll be good to go. So the whole concept here is that I'm going to right click on this and just say inspect to open my inspection window here. I'll make this a different like that so that we can have it here. Okay. So whatever we are seeing here, all the code written is in here with the stars, everything is in here. So I'm going to select this now button here. So that's it. Good. Let's go to our main, this one. So the JavaScript I'm going to add here is going to be quite simple, but it might look confusing. But please pay attention, because I'm going to explain it very well, and I'll teach you like the whole concept here. It's a simple concept. So I'm going to say, let me first of all select all the things that I have to select. So nav button is equal to document dot. I'm going to use a query selector. Query selector works like a CSS selector, where if I want to select this, I would have in CSS I would have just typed dot nav btn, because it has a class of nav btn, and that's what query selector does. Pretty simple and then pretty useful. And then I'll have the shift to all shift down twice here, so that I can just, I don't have to type again. So nav menu for this one, and then the same thing, I'll change this one to menu like that. And then the next one, nav list, and the same thing, I'm going to have nav list like that. Very good. And then finally I'm going to have the same thing again. I think I'll copy everything, I'll clean everything, const, and I'm going to have nav item is equal to document dot query selector. But this nav items is not just one. If I see nav item and I say query selector, it's going to select only one, and that's not what I want. I want to select all, so I'm going to add what? All. Query selector what? All. So you select all of those things. So I'll just say it's being where, so dot nav item. And let's see. When I saw this code first, I learned it from Travis's web design page. It looked confusing, but I sat down and analyzed it, and I'm like, oh, okay, this makes pretty much sense. I'm going to use this concept to be able to do. So what we are going to do is that, as at now, we want to assume that when it's this way, we cannot see the menu. Can we see the menu? No, we can't see the menu. So I'll come to my JavaScript and I'm going to write a code, and I'm going to say, let show menu is equal to false. Very good. So we are going to say that as at now we can't see show menu, right? But when we click, what happens? We can see the menu, so show menu become yes. So this is it. When we are here, show menu is false, but when we click, show menu becomes true. That's one concept. Don't forget this. I'll show you what we are doing in this way for now. So very good. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my nav button, thank you, dot add event listener, and so this right now is going to be waiting and listening to events, and then the event is going to listen to is going to be a click event, so that when I click on click, I want you to open menu. So when you click, I want to run this function. The function should be called open menu. And as of now, because we are using an event listener, you don't have to put another bracket like this. That would be wrong. That would be wrong in JavaScript because of it's a event listener. And I'll save. So right now, this nav button that we are having here is actually listening for events. Once you click on it, it's going to run this code, open menu code. Is that not it? And what would that be? That open menu code is the code that is going to cause this thing all to appear. So let's look at it. If I should come right now and say a function, I'm going to call this one open menu like this, and then in here, so here's what we are going to do. I'm going to say that if I click here and show menu is false, again, if I should click here and show menu is false, what I want you to do is that I want you to add, let me inspect this one, inspect, this is a special one on its own. There's a nav button, and then there's a nav list, that's the nav menu, and there's a nav item. Look at what happens when I click. What happened? Realize that something just happened here. Look, pay attention to that please. And what happened when I click? It's adding some classes, some CSS classes to it. And when I on click, it removes those classes. Add, removes, add, removes, add, removes, add, removes. So we're going to do, you're going to just use the JavaScript to be adding and removing classes so that you can cause all those transitions, all those animations. It looks quite simple. So what I'm going to say is that if show menu, you can see I put an exclamation mark, meaning opposite or reverse. So right now show menu is supposed to be what? False. So if show menu is true, that is when we have clicked it, okay, because we see when we right now it is false, but when we click, show menu becomes true. Is that not it? So if show menu is true, I want you to take nav button dot class list dot add and add a class list of add a close button, add a close class list to the nav button, and then nav menu, I want to them, and then add a class list dot add all class lists that we add, and we are adding show, because right now they will be showing. Let me do another one again, and then this one will be nav list, also add a class of what? Show, and then finally nav item. The nav item, because it's not just one, yeah, more than one, I'm going to say nav item dot for each, this each loops, for each item I'm going to run a arrow function. For each item, I want you to item dot add dot class list dot add, and then I want you to add a class list of also what? Show. Okay, so let's see whether this is working. I come here, let me inspect. Okay, so this is the nav list. Let's see whether it works. If I should click right now, nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens. And that is very nice. Let's look at our console, and they are telling us all this plenty error. Show menu is not defined. So we can go and search that and say, okay, we type show menu here instead of camel key, that's capital M here, and let's save it. Let's go back and let's inspect our page. So there's the nav list. I have it here. Let me see if I should click. You see it has added the respective class, but it's not removing it. And then that's the where we go to the next thing. So as at now, after me doing all this clicking and it has been added, we want to believe and want to tell ourselves that show menu right now should be equal to what? True, because once you clicked it, it is no longer what? False. It is now what? Showing. Sorry. So as at when I click this, as at now you can see that what? It is showing. Is that not it? So show menu should be what? True. First it was false, because we've not clicked, so it was false. But now we've clicked it, that become what? True. Guys, I know this is a bit confusing, but you don't worry. With time, you're going to understand it. That's how this thing works. You just have to follow, and I'm here for you. But I want to say else, I'll copy everything. So if show menu happens to be true, all of this to happen, and then the opposite of that, yeah, copy Control C, and then Control V. I'll change all the add, Control D to select all, and just say remove, to remove all those classes. And now I'll change this to false, then I'll save it, and then let me inspect and see what happens here. My nav list, let me open my nav list like this. Now when I click, it's added, it removes, it's added, it removes, it's added, it removes, it's added, it removes, it's added, it removes. Simple as ABCD. I think something for here wasn't working. So nav item dot for each item item dot class list dot add So now that we've been able to just add all this CSS here, all the simple CSS that you need to know. And then let's go back to our CSS and then try to style everything up. So guys, that's pretty much it for this particular video, where we've been able to add and remove classes using JavaScript. In the next video, I'm going to talk about how we can cause the rotating icon. I don't want to make the video too long, so I'm going to pause it so that you can go to the video, so that one will also be shorter and much more explanatory. So I'm going to show how we cause this animation, and also design and create code or the CSS needed for this responsive. This one, if you see, it becomes like this. When I go to a smaller page, it's already like this. Alright, I'm going to get to that one. Please, if you didn't understand anything, let me know in the comment section below. I hope I did well if in explaining the video. Let me know if you didn't get anything, so that we can throw more light on it, and then I will know even how to work about on the next video. Thank you so much for sticking to the very end. Drop a thumbs down button if you actually like this video. And without much ado, guys, I'm just going to catch you in the very next video. Peace.